Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a quick review of a product today. It's a Spud Inc. product, and those are the Gateway Briefs by Spud. I think this is another great product from Spud. I have a lot of different Spud products that I've bought over the years, and this is definitely one of the best. And I don't see a lot of people using these, or maybe they don't even know about them yet. And I think they're a great option for a raw lifter who's looking for a little extra support when they're training on their squat or deadlift days. Maybe you throw them in once a week or maybe even less than that, but they're a perfect middle ground between wearing nothing and wearing a multiply brief because a multiply brief is just going to give you a little bit too much resistance and support, in my opinion, for them to kind of carry over to any kind of raw squat. Speaking specifically for raw lifters right now. But these have enough play in them and are just supportive enough that they're going to be a great option for you to use if you're a little banged up. Instead of skipping a squat session, you could throw these on, still get all your work done, and you just get a ton of support. And you're just not going to get as banged up using them. So I actually have a pair of multiply briefs right here, so we can kind of compare and contrast the two. The first thing that I just want to go over is just the difference in material. So the Spud briefs here are just extremely stretchy. There's a ton of play to them, and they fit real nice and snug because of that. It kind of wraps around you real nice. So I think it's the same material that they use on some of their other products, like their knee sleeves or their elbow sleeves. I do have a pair of their elbow sleeves, which are great, and I really want to snag a pair of their knee sleeves. There's just a ton of stretch to the material that they use, which feels really comfortable when you're using it in the briefs or in the elbow or knee sleeves. And it doesn't provide too much resistance, so that I can still use my natural squat path that I would in my raw stance. I don't have to go out real wide like you do with a pair of multiply briefs. So if we look at these multiply briefs, these are polyester briefs, an old pair of metal aces. They're a little too big for me now, so I can't really demonstrate how they alter your squat stance. But if I try to stretch these, there's just no play to them at all. It's just completely stiff. So if you have a tight pair of multiply briefs on, you're not able to squat with a close stance or like the majority of raw lifters would. I'm not saying all raw lifters squat with a narrow stance. Some do use a wide stance, and maybe you could utilize multiply briefs there, but I think they're just going to give you a little bit too much resistance, and you're gonna need to add too much weight to the bar really to get down, and then it just starts getting a little bit harder to have some carryover to your raw squat when it's just such a different movement. But with the Spud briefs, I could still maintain my normal squat path, my squat stance, which is a little bit more narrow, a little bit more forward knee travel than a multiply lifter would use, and these aren't going to stop me from doing that. Now, I just want to clarify one thing: is if you do want to use these briefs in your training and you're a raw lifter, I'm not necessarily suggesting that you use them to lift more. I don't think you should put these on and try to see how much more you can lift in them. I think they're a good option for when you're a little banged up, or you're not feeling 100%, and you throw these on and you maintain the percentages of the weights that you're going to use anyway. It just gives you a way to keep lifting with a little bit more support. So I don't think that they should be used as a tool to overload. I just think they should be used as a supportive tool when you need them, not all the time, but they work great in that fashion if you're just going to use them as a supportive tool. So I'm going to throw these bad boys on, and I'll show you how I can squat with them using just the bar, which I wouldn't be able to do with a pair of multiply briefs. So let me throw these on and show you. All right, so I've got my Spud Gateway briefs here. I'm going to throw these on real quick, and if anybody who has trained at a multiply gym knows that it is not easy to get a pair of multiply briefs on, a tight pair of multiply briefs, and you can see these are sliding right up. These are going on nice and easy. So I weigh about 180 pounds right now. These are extra large. I bought these when I was about 230, but they actually seem to fit perfect and I think it's a perfect size for me at an XL at about 180 pounds. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for the right size. And you can see these are really tight. They're nice and snug. They feel great. If I had a pair of mult-ply briefs that were this tight, I would not be able to squat down any further than this. And I know that because I've worn mult-ply briefs before squatting. And with these, I'm completely free to squat all the way down. I don't even have a bar on my back, and I can get all the way down because they're so forgiving. There's so much stretch to them. They're really just providing a ton of support in the hips, in the lower back, and it just feels really great when you're a little banged up. So I'll just show you here. I'll take an empty bar. Again, I wouldn't be able to do this if I had a pair of mult-ply briefs on or single ply. I've never worn a pair of single ply briefs, but I know they're pretty stiff. So I'm going to take an empty bar, take it out. I'm going to use my normal squat stance. So this is, relatively narrow compared to what a mult-ply lifter would be. And I can just completely squat all the way down, and there's nothing stopping me from hitting depth with an empty bar. So if these were a pair of mult-ply briefs, first of all, I wouldn't be able to take a stance like this. It would just kind of be caving me in, and it would really just make me collapse. So I'd be out here, which is altering my stance, and then I wouldn't be able to hit depth. I'd probably be able to get about here with an empty bar. So again, the big difference between these and a pair of mult-ply briefs is that these allow me to maintain my normal squat stance, my normal bar path, and they don't force me to change that stuff. So there can be a carryover from using these. Whereas using a pair of mult-ply briefs, I'm going to have to widen my stance out. I'm going to have to add more weight to the bar in order to get to full depth, which then just becomes a little bit too different than your regular squat, in my opinion. And I don't know that there's really any benefit to that, really overloading. I'm not sure that it's going to carry over to your raw lifts. Whereas something like these, like I said before, I'm not necessarily using them to overload the lift. I'm just using them as a supportive tool when I'm a little banged up, not feeling 100%. I can still come in, I can still squat my normal stance, my normal bar path, and get the work in without missing a day or getting injured, really. So these things, they just feel real great. And I've been lifting for 15, 16 years. I'm 31 years old. The older I get, the more I see myself utilizing these in the gym. I think they're just a great tool for anyone who's looking for a little extra support. And if you're interested, I definitely suggest going out and grabbing a pair of these because I think they're just a great product. Another great product from Spud. So I hope this helped, and I hope it kind of clears up some questions if you had any about, which kind of briefs maybe a raw lifter should use in their training. I would definitely suggest these briefs over a pair of mult-ply briefs or even a pair of single-ply briefs. I think they're a great option. Thanks, guys. I hope this helped, and let me know if you have any questions.